do, but a lot of the times, and especially against somebody like ApolloKage, who by his admission loves to play campy, this could be a long haul for us, but nonetheless, it will definitely be a showcase of skill.
For sure, ApolloKage, arguably the best snake that we have around, especially in the NA region, I believe. Kels definitely up there with one of the best Sonics. It's going to be pretty interesting so far. First Blood is actually going to be stricken by Kels as we're seeing 25%. Now, Sonics, #1 Sonic in the world, #1 player in the Dominican Republic, actually coaches Kels a lot, as she has mentioned beforehand. So it's going to be pretty important for her to actually recognize when to approach, when to go in, and when not to go in, as we're seeing C4 is already planted onto Sonic.
Yeah, it did get transferred over to the Snake. Now it's back to Sonic, and it'll get transferred back and forth a few times, right? ApolloKage's got it now, and it's just something to keep in mind. It does get detonated onto Sonic's shield, and that is something that Kels is going to be aware of, especially after yesterday. These two played in their doubles teams against each other, and one of the games actually ended with Kels not even realizing that she had the C4 stuck to her, and ApolloKage just, actually I think it was Sensei and KGP, actually, in that matchup where Kels got blown up by that. And ApolloKage, right, definitely can demonstrate the same kind of proficiency. Sticking Sonic is huge because then he can't just run away from you and be entirely safe.
Yeah, doing a really good job so far at getting those pressure situations in with the spring jumps. 94% onto Snake. Now, ApolloKage does like to play a little campy Kimono, like you mentioned beforehand, and this could work out for him if he has the advantage, but when he has the deficit that he has now, it could be pretty problematic when it comes to actually getting some offense into Kels, who's actually been playing very patiently and actually maintaining the distance onto the Snake as much as possible.
And like I said, we could be in for the long haul here, even though Kels does like to play a slightly more aggressive Sonic. At the end of the day, we know where this character's strengths lie, and that's because he can basically just pick his battles whenever he wants. He's got the speed to be able to run away from bad situations and engage in situations where he feels like he's got, you know, a free moment, right? And he's always looking for those riskless moments through that speed. Kels definitely finding a couple right here with ApolloKage at 124, but he's not relented in his style. He does get hit by that jab reset F smash, but Kels has not found a way to take the stock just yet.
Actually using spring jump directional arrow dodge downward to continue the momentum onto a Snake, who has one of the worst disadvantages in the game as well. So not that many options that you're going to find for Snake to recover, who's already at 157%, and we're seeing Kels actually running a little bit of circles there. Up tilt going to come out for 84. So again, the approaches are going to be stuffed out, but it's nothing that Kels can actually not come back from, considering the advantage. So she needs to be careful when actually making any type of approaches, Kimona. She doesn't really need to force the issue, especially since ApolloKage is just giving him enough space to actually not do much.
Well, we see we're almost 3 minutes into this game and not a stock has been taken yet. It's almost certain that this game one's going to go to the timer at this point. But Kels does get caught by that up smash, and ApolloKage, you mentioned this earlier, right, does like to play that campy style, and he's going to stick to it even with Kels having the lead because he knows that one moment of fortune right there can work out for him. Snake is a heavy character. Sonic's not going to be able to take early stocks from him. You see, without Rage, even that back throw at 170 is not going to be enough to take it, so AK getting to stay alive for a little bit longer. He's going to take another trip off stage. Kels still struggling to get that first one on the board, and meanwhile, ApolloKage making those numbers climb.
This time around, the back air is going to do a 53% of extra credit by ApolloKage. Doing a really good job of racking up that damage like you mentioned beforehand as well. The grenades are doing the job that they're supposed to, and he's just playing on the back end and the back end foot. Now, the problem that I see Kels having, Kimona, is again, the aggression is actually being one of her trademarks as a player. It can come back to bite her just as they did in the first stock. So now that she has to make any type of comeback situations, it's going to be difficult for her to do so, as we're seeing the walls of grenades come out, and then Nikita's jump in by ApolloKage.
I think that her aggression is really going to pay off in this particular situation, though, where, again, it's almost certain that the timer is going to come into play as a win condition at the end of this game one. But for Kels, being able to play Sonic more aggressively is huge where she's playing from behind, because she has to be able to make up that damage on ApolloKage. She would not be able to do that if she was just entirely a defensive Sonic, but now she does have that path back into the game, because what's important now is to make sure that you do not lose the percentage lead on that last stock, or potentially even on this stock. It will be ApolloKage, though, nearly taking that first one.
Well, directional air dodge in one more time with the spin dash, 94%, actually trying to get that grenade's gonna come up. Trying to use that sour spot nair to confirm into a backer to actually take the way of the stock as soon as possible. 162% onto Sonic now. Kel's doing a really good job at surviving, but they need to be careful not to overextend, especially when actually dealing with Snake's vertical options. The up tilt is still going to be in play, and its other tools as well, especially since grenades are going to start just covering everything.
Yeah, and Kels is getting to the point where those grenades are actually going to be a threat to take her stock, like even straight from the ground. So she has to be really, really careful in choosing her engagement points. But with this much rage, I mean, honestly, a back throw near the ledge could even get her the stock. We're going to have to see who gets that second stock. Timer ticking down ever further, but ApolloKage keeping the pressure on, especially here near the ledge. If he does get the back air, he's going to be taking the lead, and Kels has to fire back quick.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's doing, actually getting the up air. That time, Kels responding back. They need to recognize, however, the C4 is actually on the left platform, and you see it right there. They need to be careful. Oh, good jump just to avoid it, and we are 1 minute and 20 seconds left on this first game.
And let me tell you this, right? It's been an adventure to get here, but now that we know for a fact this game is going to time, there's almost no way it's not. This is where things get exciting. You've only got a minute left on the clock, and every single hit means the world.
Yep, grenades are going to come out by the Snake, actually exploding 30% differential, and Kels is actually running away with it a little bit more. But again, the C4 being the bane on SuperGirlKels' side, 44% up to 25 now, 50 seconds left on the clock. Ramona, yep, heading the home stretch for sure.
This is an absolutely amazing set, and we are going to find a phenomenal conclusion to this game one as Kels right now playing with the lead, 40 seconds left. And remember, in a timeout scenario, the person with the lower percent is the one that gets to win the game. That is the rule set. And Kels right now is making it look all but certain that she is going to be the one taking this game. One goes deep off stage. Could have been really scary. And now ApolloKage, with stage control, has a chance to get right back into this one.
79% now, 20 seconds left on the clock. We're seeing, once again, spin charge actually going to do some more damage, 88% now. Up airs, 113%. Kels does not need to do anything else, and we have 10 seconds on the clock. We're seeing grenades exploding. 8 seconds left. Grenades one more time. ApolloKage trying to get something going, but it's 3 seconds left, and Kels actually gets the first game in a barn burner of a set.
Really, really well played. You can see, right? That takes a lot of energy. She's like, look, I know that went to time, but look, I gotta say this much, right? I think that between a Sonic playing ApolloKage, and especially a good Sonic like Kels, I think we all knew that these games are very likely to go to time. And I have to say, this has been a very entertaining game one. It took us a while to get to the conclusion, but to me, I had a lot of fun watching that because it felt like every single moment that the game was going on, the game state was changing and advancing in some ways. I mean, particularly when you got to the end and the win condition was really clear, every hit meant the world to each of those players. But even earlier on in the game, right, you saw that these two were very intelligently trying to play around stage control, the grenades, everything that ApolloKage was doing to stuff out Kels' approaches, and you saw her really intelligently picking her spots. And so the thing to really enjoy about a matchup like this is watching how the game state kind of ebbs and flows between these two.
Yeah, but now ApolloKage really wants it up close and personal, Kimona, because we're picking Hollow Bastion. There isn't going to be that much room for you to run around and have your offense in. Nevertheless, this could work to SuperGirlKels' favor because we know the type of Sonic that she likes to play. She likes to play it up close and personal, aggressive, and let's see if ApolloKage can actually deal with the offense.
Yeah, it's a good point that, like, as far as counterpicking Kels goes, it's kind of a catch-22 that if you go to a big stage, right, then maybe you have to play a real grinder of a game like we saw in that game one. But if you go to a smaller stage, she gets to keep the pressure on you like we've seen right now. She is a whole lot less concerned about ApolloKage getting crazy stage setups with grenades and C4 and everything. Of course, he can control that center platform as much as he wants. That's one of the reasons why he loves Hollow Bastion. Snake on these single platform stages can do an amazing, amazing job of maintaining stage control just because he can have the entire platform to himself. But right now, things are getting very close between these two. ApolloKage hanging on at 187.
Yeah, you definitely have to rack up that damage if you're SuperGirlKels. But a good confirm off of a grenade by ApolloKage can be enough to take the stock, as we're seeing the walls coming in from the grenades and the Nikitas. And oh my god, wow!
He actually just rolled right over him with a spin dash. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life, and I don't know if I will again.
That was a beautiful interaction, and one of the things that Sonics and Mega Mans like to do, Kimona, is actually put the spring or rush coil right in the middle of the platform. So as soon as Snake falls down onto it, they go up, and then the invincibility just disappears. And now we're seeing the confirm up to Nair 1 into the sweet chin music for the first stock by ApolloKage with only 22% of extra credit.
This game has definitely changed, you know, right compared to that game one. Things are moving a little bit quicker. Percentages are climbing a little bit quicker, but you see ApolloKage is just trying to kind of keep up with that pace of the game. It's one of the things he's talked about recently, that he wants to be an extremely adaptable Snake. He doesn't want to be locked down to that campy, you come to me style. He really wants to be able to fight up close and personal, and you can tell it's something he's been working on, because he's had a couple of times where he's gotten into a scramble against Kels and won those scrambles.
Yeah. Doing a really good job so far, but unfortunately, Carol's actually taking the advantage. But now, just like that, differential of only 24%, Grenade is going to explode.
Huge.
Just like that, one stock lead, one stock lead, 3 percentage lead, my apologies. Moving again, and now the grenades are exploding. And this is why the counter pick can work definitely into Snake's favor, as we're seeing the offense come in by ApolloKage.
And it's really, really big for ApolloKage to get that percentage racked up. Like you mentioned, the offensive presence, we've needed to see it. Kels almost gets taken off the top by that grenade, and that's something that we haven't often seen from her. She has been really, really mindful in her spacing to not get caught by the hail of projectiles from ApolloKage, and that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to match that damage output from Kels, especially in terms of chip, because she just hasn't been giving it to him.
Differential of 0.1%, Kimona. It's definitely not going to be quite the end of the match. They are eventually going to hit each other, but it's still a precarious situation to be in. So seeing, once again, ApolloKage actually trying to get some offense going. C4 is going to explode right on the platform. Doesn't parry, but not quite being able to punish it. Nikita's going to come down. Grenades back and forth, left and right and front and center. Up smash going to come out from the Snake, and Kels is trying to find something, but eventually first blood in this situation is going to come out for the Snake. Nikita actually clanks against neutral special of Sonic.
And I don't think Kels was expecting that. I think she thought that was a free path back to the stage, a free recovery. Did not find that. Instead, it's a stock for ApolloKage, and now he gets to camp to his heart's content. He gets to slow the game down and force Kels to approach as much as he wants, but like you mentioned, she is no stranger to doing that, using that Sonic speed to get up close and get things started, but it's also gotten her into some hot water. ApolloKage has got her nearing kill percents, and particularly with Snake Rage, if you get grabbed as a Sonic, if you mess up one approach, kiss that stock goodbye.
166% onto Snake, now 175. So surviving one more time, we might see a repeat of what we saw before, Kimona. That was the up air that actually shifted the momentum to SuperGirlKels' favor. It's going to be pivotal for her to actually get some more damage in before the clock runs out.
She has to demonstrate just an absolute gold medal state of patience and zen in her mind to bring this one back, though, because she's really at a percent where she can't take trades. She does get aggressive on that up B, and it's one moment where she's allowed to, but ApolloKage could turn that around really quickly if she's not careful. Just like that off of that grenade. Kels going for a big reversal with the down air, but doesn't find it, and Nikita will give ApolloKage the Game 2 win, and we will go to the destined Game 3, and you can tell both of these players are having the time of their lives. It is so fun to play a high-level set no matter who your opponent is.
Yeah, this feels like a chess match, Kimona, if I've ever seen one. Just constantly moving the chips back and forth. Projectiles versus aggression. And the first game, the patience of SuperGirlKels towards the end actually paid dividends. This time around, because it was a smaller stage, ApolloKage actually managed to set up all of the traps needed to catch the Sonic in the first place. What is going to be the pick for this one is going to be pretty interesting.
And I think it's not even necessarily the size of the stage. I mean, if you look at sort of the main platform,
yeah,
Hollow Bastion's not exactly that small, but it feels very small to a Sonic like you're talking about, and plays in a very small way because he doesn't have a lot of places to escape to on that stage. He has very specific ways that he has to kind of get out of that spin dash and you know, dash back and forth across the stage, whereas if you go somewhere like Kalos, like Town and City, I'm sure both of those are banned, he has a lot more places to run to, and that's why we saw the game play like it did on PS2.
Stadium 2 is definitely going to be the pick for this time around, so strap in Twitch chat, strap in Kimona, and get your popcorn ready. We're probably going to see another 7-minute banger.
And you know what, Chopper? I would not mind that because, again, the way that these two play, the game state is always evolving between them. And they're always finding different ways to deal with what each other are doing, particularly in how they position themselves around each other's style of stage control. But right now, Kels eating a whole lot of damage immediately, and that is not something that we saw in that game one. Okay. See, you can see in the player cam, Kels is trying not to laugh. She's just like, I'm about to get blown up by the grenade.
Doing a really good job so far, but now ApolloKage is actually doing a lot of recognition and dropping those bombs because he knows that Kels is actually throwing out hitboxes right on the outside. So as soon as he drops them, actually gets hit by them and actually racks up some more damage. And it's good for ApolloKage as well because he knows, okay, I'm going to survive anyway up to 180, 190% because that's the type of scenarios that we've seen throughout the set.
I think another thing that ApolloKage has done such a good job of showing is his knowledge of where Sonic's engagement zones are, right? How far away does he have to be before I can react to it? And before I can just drift to this platform, he won't be able to catch up to me, and I'll have a grenade in hand. And then he can't pressure me because Sonic does not want to be taking trades in this matchup, and certainly not something that Snake wants to be doing. He does get hit by that backer, not expecting Kels to get aggressive on that Nikita attempt, but again, see this first stock taking a long time to chop into.
Oh my god, the C4s are being the vein of the existence of SuperGirlKels. He has been getting hit by those out the wazoo. Woo. Combination done by ApolloKage for a quick 32. 157% now. If the rest of the set has been everything to come by, Kels still has a long way to go before she takes this stock.
I want to know the price in like American dollars that the U.S. military has spent on Snake pulling grenades in this match, because I mean ApolloKage has probably pulled, I would guess it's a decent over-under on 100 in each of these games, and especially in that game one, and here in this game two, it's looking like he's on pace for that. 157%. Again, you've mentioned this before, he has no incentive to approach. He does not need to get aggressive against Kels, and it is paying off for him.
Yeah, grenades exploding one more time, and sometimes wearing headphones when we're in this situation can work out as well, Kimona. You really need to hear the game, especially in those situations where you don't see the grenade coming, as ApolloKage just takes it with that up air to get this stock one more time. But again, if you don't hear when you pick up those grenades, it's pretty difficult for you to actually recognize when you have in the first place. You need to be careful when actually those grenades are going to come out. The C4 is on the platform. It's going to explode. ApolloKage now has that in his arsenal, so they need to be careful.
And another thing that he has going for him, man, is, again, just control of the game. 202%, and he's got his first stock still. Kels on her last and still struggling to take out the stock of the Heavy Snake. Finally gets one, but, I mean, if you look at the player cam in this entire last game three, it just seems like Kels is not able to maintain her focus as well as she was in that first game, and she's taken a lot of hits that, if you've seen her a couple of these times, she gets hit by a grenade or a little combo from ApolloKage, and you can see that she knows what she could have done to not get hit by that, but focus is so hard to come by in a long set like this. And as the seconds tick down, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to ApolloKage moving on.
Yeah, and so far so good by Apollo as well. This is why he's the best Snake in the game right now.
Woo!
Look at that sweet chin music, sending him right onto the upwards. 128% Nikita's going to come out. Good recovery onto Kels. 1-2. Let's see what's going to be the option for them. And Snake is just going to stand still.
Wow, nice stutter step. Kels is like, yes, I stopped him from taking a stock by standing still.
Very nice. Very nice by ApolloKage. He really doesn't need to do much anymore, like we mentioned before, Kimona. So it's going to be up to Kels to actually find those different times to approach. And this is a stamina battle if you've ever seen one.
And Kels, maybe she can just tap in, find that focus. She is going to need a ridiculously explosive stock, whether it's on the first or the last, to bring this one back, because if we go to time, I'm pretty sure this is just ApolloKage's game to win, and Kels is trying to find a way, right, considering her options. What is one way that I can immediately get a crazy early stock and have a chance at winning this game? And that's why she's taking her time, weighing all of her options. Where is ApolloKage leaving himself most vulnerable? Because she's in a position right now where she cannot make one more mistake. One more mistake means the set is over.
Yeah, the grenade placings by ApolloKage have made the biggest adaptation out of anything that we've seen both of these players do. And we're seeing him one more time. The grenades are actually falling right in front or backwards towards the Snake, just to cover what option Sonic is going to go for in the horizontal offense. So most of the stuff that Kels is actually going to go for is actually going to get mitigated by said grenades.
See Kels just trying to find, again, that one moment where ApolloKage is going to leave himself open for her to slide in with something like a forward tilt, maybe try and get a forward smash at 187. Doesn't have any room to get cute anymore. This is just a grab away from ApolloKage winning the set with a down throw into up tilt. And he knows it. He's not going to engage in any moment where he doesn't need to. And, you know, this game may yet go to time, but the C4 out of nowhere is going to do it for ApolloKage. And this set will grind to a halt, probably close to about 20 minutes on it. And he's breathing a sigh of relief because he had to stay focused that entire way through.
For sure, and C4 does have a 2-minute timer, so he didn't really make it explode. He's just throwing Nikitas out there and hoping that SuperGirlKels was actually going to forget about the C4 in the first place. One of the tools that he actually brought up. So C4, definitely MVP. Close MVP, the placing on the grenades right behind him. Because, again, forcing the Sonic to actually make